I recently read an article from BuzzFeed about the two girls who first started the He's a 10 trend on TikTok, Mary and Leah Woods. In case you haven't seen it around, it's a fun, memeable game friends play and often post on social media where they give a hypothetical dating partner a given score but then introduce a characteristic that completely shifts the perception of the person. For instance, he's an 8 but he wears socks with his flip-flops. Or she's a 9 but she never tips, or the other way around, like he's a 3 but he's a billionaire, etc. In the article, they talk about wanting to get credit for their idea and how they were also thinking of making an official game version of it in order to monetize their creation, and it got me thinking about a bunch of other instances where people were so desperate or eager to capitalize on their virality and why we need to commodify everything. That game graphic is a mock-up I made, by the way, not the real thing. Another recent salient example is how Chef P on TikTok created this pink sauce that went super viral and then started manufacturing a batch to sell out of her kitchen. The sauce was instantly notorious for having an undescribable taste, leaving viewers intrigued. The consistency and color did change from batch to batch in the chef's various TikToks featuring the sauce, and when she started selling them and shipping them around the country, numerous complaints were made. Accounts of how the bottles weren't factory sealed, since the sauce is essentially homemade and therefore leaked in transit, and a slew of other issues were made, including a very steep price of $20 per bottle, an incomplete list of ingredients, a nutrition facts label filled with mistakes, including portion sizes, stating there were 444 servings in one bottle, which Chef P has said she has now fixed, the bottle swelling up in transport, potentially indicating the content was spoiling, and that bacteria was forming, possibly due to the unconfirmed presence of milk ingredients being unrefrigerated during transport, as well as alleged reports of people getting sick from eating the sauce and ending up in the hospital. Initially, Chef P did not seem to understand that she needed to get FDA approval before manufacturing her sauce for commercial purposes, saying she never made health claims, so it had nothing to do with it.
I'm not afraid. I'm not doing anything wrong. I am following FDA standards. So y'all keep talking about FDA approved. What do you mean FDA approved? I don't sell medical products. The pink sauce is not a medical product. The pink sauce don't contribute to your health. I never said that. Did I?
This demonstrated that despite her best intentions in capitalizing on her newfound social media success, she had no extensive knowledge of food production and could have gotten in a lot of legal troubles for it. A much easier way to share the pink sauce with her viewers would have been to just share the recipe online, or perhaps sell it for a small fee if necessary, rather than trying to package it, sell it, and ship it herself. Thankfully for people's well-being, the FDA seemed to have stepped in, and she seems to have halted production until the manufacturing process is fully evaluated.
Last week, Dave's Gourmet Sauce announced that they are partnering with the pink sauce creator Chef P to commercially produce a shelf-stable version that is less complicated, dairy-free, and clean of any preservative, artificial colors, or flavor. They did not comment on the price, but hopefully that will be a safer way for people to try out the infamous sauce.
These are just a couple recent examples of how we have this need to commodify and monetize everything we do. There is this particular expectation or pressure when you go viral to turn it into a lucrative business, either by becoming an influencer or selling stuff or something, to essentially find a way to sustain one's instant success, such as when Alex from Target went viral on Twitter a few years ago, and how he initially tried to make it work on the influencer scene before vanishing off the internet, or how Brittany Broski, the kombucha girl, found a way to take her viral meme moment and turn it into a full-blown social media career. I made a whole video about commodifying yourself on social media that basically breaks this down further, so I will link it down below. Vox actually made a really cool video in partnership with The Pudding, talking about how TikTok has changed the music industry and how when aspiring artists go viral on the platform, record labels offer them deals almost automatically. Music creators are encouraged to create TikTok-friendly sounds and come up with hit after hit after hit to use the momentum of a viral song and swing it into a full-blown music career. Listen, I get it. Our society is built on the need for us to make a decent amount of money, and working for the men isn't exactly fun. So there is this understandable appeal to want to become an entrepreneur, have a business, or become an influencer and be able to provide for yourself that way. But aren't some things worth more than money? Like, why do we feel the need to monetize every aspect of our lives? Why do we feel like we need to objectify our bodies on Instagram to gain a monetizable following? Why do people in MLMs try to monetize their actual relationship with everyone they have ever met? Why do some people use their children to make money online? Why are people offering their lives up for people's judgment and entertainment in blogs? Why do people always encourage one another to market their hobbies by either making videos about it or sell their creation on Etsy? My grandma used to do crafts she would gift her friends and family, and at some point when everyone had one, she would make more and sell them to raise funds for local causes, kind of like a bake sale at local little markets. We had embroidered bookmarks, knitted oven mitts, snowmen made out of washcloths, and keychains made out of like melted pill bottles and wax crayons. But that was never intended to be scaled into a full-fledged business. When people turn their crafts into Etsy businesses, all of a sudden they have to manage a production schedule and fulfill orders, do customer service, keep accounting records, and fill out taxes. That kind of takes the fun out of it, no? Why is everyone expected to want to scale up and legitimize their hobbies into businesses? I think it's akin to seeing Charli D'Amelio in her Hulu TV show talk about how when TikTok became her job, it stopped being fun for her. We've heard a lot of influencers speak on creator burnout in the last few years as well. And there is something to be said about commodifying their whole lives for content, with an algorithm that will be very unforgiving if you ghost your platform for a much needed break. Content creators have a pressure to keep churning new content and to use any holiday or vacation time people with normal job would usually take off as content farms to keep their viewers entertained and the algorithm happy. I mean, there is even a bunch of professionals that create social media accounts to capitalize off of their existing careers. Notably, the therapists of Instagrams, the dermatologists of TikToks, or DermTalk, or the doctors of YouTube like Dr. Mike and Dr. Sandra Lee. I could talk about experts in their field using social media to grow or pivot their career, but that could be a whole video in and of itself. The point is, must we really all seek fame and fortune at all costs? Like, should we actually always be looking for ways to scale up, as they say, to turn our hobbies into careers, to loathe the 9-to-5 daily grind and want to work for ourselves? Should we actually glorify the people who do and envy them? Maybe while this path is perfectly valid for some, it's not one that is destined for everyone. Maybe there is validity in wanting to just work for a company and not be the CEO. There's a small movement of antipreneurs that is doing just that, celebrating working a regular job over trying to become their own boss. It's actually refreshing, to be honest. Anyways, I'd love to hear your thoughts. See you next time.